This unit is sent by Roseselsa for review, but as per usual, this review is 100% my own thoughts and experience on the product. The QuietSea II's packaging is actually slightly smaller than the previous version, with a lot of makeover in the visual department. Perhaps the anime-style box might not work for everyone, but I honestly do not really care about it that much. While it is on a smaller size, it is definitely packing a lot. The QuietSea II comes with an acrylic standee, two types of eartips, the cables, a carrying pouch, cleaning tool, and the IEMs themselves. Costing around $70 at the time of writing, the QuietSea II also comes with a nicely built modular connector. Perhaps if I would nitpick, the pouch is just a pouch and not a hard case, and perhaps the cable can feel quite light. But the highlights are definitely the modular cable and the eartips, as they gave you 4 sizes of each, and one of them is their SoundCocoon eartips. The design is similar to previous generation, but I think the transparent plastic piece looks nicer compared to the opaque version on the earlier model. The one I got here is the blue version, and I think I like this one better than the silver version. I am curious on how they will hold up over time. On the fitment, the QuietSea II does have a short nozzle and generally fit on the shallower side. The small triangular shape also fits rather nicely in my ears, but if you have smaller ears, it might have caused a few pressure points. I think the QuietSea II is nicely comfortable. Perhaps comfort does not only come from the physical side of things. How do they sound? The QuietSea II does live to its name, as it leans towards a more relaxed sound signature with a lot of bass. Let's talk more about it. The QuietSea II does have a lot of emphasis on the lower end, making this IEM quite suitable for those who enjoy a lot of bass. Personally, I found them work quite well with pop songs, but I think they lack a little bit of something which I will get back in the mid section. Back to the bass department, I think the bass is not that rumbly and textured as I like it to be. On certain songs, the bass can even sound slightly boomy, sacrificing technical texture for a more straightforward, fun presentation. Overall, I think the QuietSea II offers a healthy punchy bass with little rumble and texture. Enough about what stands out with the QuietSea II, and now let's move on to the mid-range. As previously mentioned, it has a quite relaxed sound signature, so the vocals and other sound occupying these frequencies can come out slightly recessed. The QuietSea II lower mids presentation sounds good, while sacrificing a little bit of note weight and a little bit of clarity, while the upper mid-range is well tuned, keeping that balance between upper frequencies and the bass. Back to the point I was saying in the bass department about pop songs, I think what is missing with the QuietSea II is the presence and energy in the overall mid-range. Treble on the QuietSea II is still sticking to the overall sound signature, as the QuietSea II can be considered relaxed by some. It is not that dark, that cymbal do not have any presence, but it is less pronounced compared to the Dunu Titan S2 or My Zero Red. While it won't satisfy treble heads, I think it works well complementing the overall sound signature, and it helps maintaining the sense of resolution in the overall presentation. Cymbal sounds like a healthy addition rather than sounding like a highlight in the overall presentation. If I would nitpick, the relaxed upper mids to treble presentation might not be suitable for those who listen to a lot of metal or rock tracks, as it does feels like it is missing a little bit of clarity on the top end. Usually, with this type of tuning, it can be difficult to achieve a good technical presentation. However, I am quite surprised with the technical presentation of this set. While it is perhaps not the widest in terms of sound staging, I think it is wide enough to feel expansive with decent imaging. Not to forget, the overall presentation is also quite detailed to show some subtle nuance in the mix. The vocal presentation can be quite pushed back, but I think it is nice to have a little space between the listener and the vocalist. This song is pretty nice in terms of technical and tonal presentation. The QuietSea II presentation excels tonally, bringing up a lot of that emotional impact in terms of technical presentation, it is not the widest out of the IMs I own. There is a pretty good amount of separation between vocals and instrument, but the separation between instruments is just okay. Mostly because most of the bass fills most of the gaps. In a similar theme of being a sequel IM and also a single dynamic driver IM, the Aria 2 costs around $89, about $20 more than the QuietSea II. The Aria 2 sounds less bassy compared to the QuietSea II. The vocals seems to also be more pronounced on the Aria 2. The combination helps Aria 2 sounds clean and clearer when it is compared to the QuietSea II. The Aria 2 may come out slightly clinical, while the QuietSea II sounds a little more analogish. I think if you like a relaxed experience, I would still recommend the QuietSea II over the Aria 2. But if you like more intimate and clearer vocals and does not mind less bass overall, going with the Aria 2 is a good decision. Outside of the sound impression, I think the Aria 2 feels nicer in hand, but judging by how the demo unit looks, I think you get the idea. Moving on to its predecessor, the original QuietSea has a more neutral, lean-ish sound signature compared to the QuietSea II. I think it is a very different approach of the tuning, and depending on what your preference is, you may prefer one over the other. For me, the original QuietSea is good, losing that bass boost and going for a more clean and neutral presentation. Bass is decently textured, perhaps a little lacking in punch, but it does have a quite nice rumble. As for the upper frequencies, it is slightly more pronounced with a few peaks, resulting in a clean and clear upper mids to treble area. It is worth noting if you are sensitive to high energy upper frequencies, the QuietSea might feel slightly fatiguing. As for the technical side of things, the technicalities of the QuietSea original is on par with the QuietSea II. Perhaps it may come off as slightly more detailed due to the slightly less bass it has. But other than that, both the QuietSea and the QuietSea II is decently technical. In terms of build quality, it seems like they both have their own pros and cons. The QuietSea II has a slightly thinner and lighter cable, but it does come with a modular connector. The QuietSea has a thicker and overall nicer feeling cable, but it only comes in a NMCX termination and it is not modular. The QuietSea II is a sequel to their first QuietSea IM. Still configured with a single dynamic driver, the QuietSea II goes for a completely different sound presentation. Personally, I would say that the QuietSea II is not only an improvement over the first one, but it is an entirely different IM and will probably be better to have a different name than the first one. Costing around $70 at the time of writing, the QuietSea II is a good contender for those who are looking for a more analog and bass-boosted IM. Perhaps it is slightly missing some texture, but in terms of bass, quality, and quantity, the QuietSea II does offer a pretty good quantity while it is not sacrificing too much on that quality. Keep in mind that this is on the relaxed side of things, but I think if you enjoy warm, smooth, and relaxed sound presentation, the QuietSea II might be a good candidate. As for the ratings, the QuietSea II gets a B+ for tonality and a B for technicalities. Something I recommend for those who like a pretty good balance between tonality and technicalities while having a preference towards a smooth, bass-boosted IM. That is it. That is my review of the QuietSea II. What do you think of the QuietSea II? Should sequel IM have totally different sound profile? Let me know in the comment section down below. Huge thanks to Roseselsa for providing both the QuietSea and the QuietSea II for review. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next one.